Happening now on First Look, a Vernon Parish man charged with an attack on a newspaper delivery driver finds out his fate in court. Thanks for tuning in to First Look. I'm Brooke Buford. And first on 4, Dylan James, the second of 2 suspects, charged in connection to a December 17th, 2021 attack on a Vernon Parish newspaper delivery man, has been sentenced to 8 years in prison with 1 year suspended. And Dylan James and his brother Douglas James were both arrested after attacking delivery man Woody Blanks, who was delivering at their grandfather's home on Catfish Hut Road in Rosepine. Blanks got out of his vehicle to hand deliver the paper and was left partially blind by the attack. Last October, Douglas James was sentenced to 8 years in prison with 1 year suspended, which is the maximum sentence for his second-degree battery conviction. And last August, Dylan was convicted of the same charge. It took a few months for Dylan's sentencing due to a post-conviction motion filed by his attorney, but he was finally sentenced yesterday by Judge Tony Bennett. Vernon Parish District Attorney Terry Lambright said he was pleased with the outcome of the case.